Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lisa and I'm at the very end of my first bodybuilding prep for my show. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone who's given me comments and encouragement in the last couple weeks. Those comments really do mean a lot to me, and I know you guys take time out of your busy day to make them, so thank you. Anyway, so the last episodes, I kind of was taking you through a trial load for potentially how we're going to peak me for my show. Then I know that I was kind of like, we're going to go over the results later. So we're going to dive into those. And then I'm going to take you through one of my weekday leg days, actually the one weekday leg day. Because my kids are on spring break, I actually had a little bit more time to be able to film, and I wasn't in a huge hurry like I normally am. So I filmed that for you because I know that I said that I was going to have to do that at some point. So I took advantage of it and I did that, and I will kind of do a voiceover for that part too. But okay, to kind of break this down. So I'm going to pop up shots in here where I'm going to show, just to remind you, I took pictures before we loaded. We did a moderate load, like one of my regular refeeds, and then a higher one, and then a higher calorie but lower carb, higher fat day, just to kind of clean things up. And I had a lot of GI distress. My body was not super happy with that. We think that I still had too much, even though I was trying to be mindful of fiber intake. I usually eat like more than 4 servings of vegetables in a day. So we think that it was too much for my stomach. So we're actually going to redo that load, and I'm going to show you those pictures. Actually, we did. I don't know what point it's already happened. So anyway, we redid the load the next weekend, and I did the same thing. I took pictures each day. And so after our first one, we definitely know that I filled up a little bit, but definitely my gut was not happy. It took me a couple days to recover from that. Those pictures kind of looked like if we did the higher carb day on Saturday, that I looked better on Monday. And Sunday, I was kind of, my lines weren't as sharp, whatever. And obviously, like, my stomach didn't feel good and looked a little bit bigger than some of the other days. So, interesting thing, though, is that if you, oh my God, I can't talk. When we redid it, we dropped my vegetable servings to like 1 vegetable serving a day. Maybe 1.5, but 1 vegetable serving a day. And I tried to keep my fiber actually lower than I normally do, just in case, like, I don't know. So we did that, and I'm going to pop those pictures in as well. And when we retested that, I didn't get a stomach ache like I did the first time, and it actually looked like the immediate day after the higher carb day. So the higher carb day was also Saturday. It looked like the Sunday, the very next day, I looked fuller. And then kind of, after going to low fat, or the lower carb that day, then Monday I didn't look quite as good. It's like splitting hairs though, guys. Like, when I tell you I can't really see it, I can't really see it beyond, like, I don't know, maybe I screenshotted my posing at the wrong time or something, but that's why you have a coach, because that's what they do. They analyze it. He asked me, and I was like, whatever you think. Like, can't tell. So anyway, that's what we're going to follow. And we're going to do just a little bit more, because he's like, yes, you filled up, but I actually think we can fill you up some more. So he's going to use that to create my peak week plan, which I will go over when I have it. And yeah, but it was pretty interesting. I literally feel like a science experiment. Like, we adjust this, we adjust that, and let's see what happens. Because when you're this lean, you can see the differences. So you can see the differences in the lines, if they're blurry or sharper. You can see differences in like your waist shape and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool. So anyway, I will show you guys those, and then I'll go into this voiceover for the leg day because that's what this is all about. All right, hang tight. Okay, so moving into my weekday leg day, I start out with hamstring curl, 4 sets of 10 to 12. This is my first set at 17 and a half, and I did it for 12 reps for each side. This is after a warm-up where I do 10-minute walk and some banded work. And what I do is I do a superset of this with hip thrusts, and I do 4 of those supersets. Okay, so without any rest, straight from the hamstring curl machine, I then go over to my hip thrust and do a set of 10 to 12, and then I increase weight as I go. All right, and this was my second set of the hamstring curls. I tried to get different views just to give you a different idea of, how the machine works. You want to make sure you're pushing your hips in and really trying to isolate that hamstring versus using your lower back or anything like that. Depending on your biomechanics, it may do better for you to try to stay more upright or lean more over. Everyone's a little bit different. But the big thing is to have that mind muscle connection with this. Okay, so this was my second set of hip thrusts where I added 30 pounds onto it from my very first one. And again, did 12 reps, making sure that I am feeling it in the glutes and not any quads or anything like that. And then third set of hamstring curls. This particular day, I was not able to move up in weight. Getting to the 12 reps was actually quite difficult for me. But if I was able to get through those relatively easily, I would then typically add weight. But today, that was not happening. Onto the third set of hip thrusts where I again added weight. This time I added 20 pounds. And you'll notice I'm using the booty band on this. I feel like it helps me activate better and really get that mind muscle connection. All right, and then last of the superset, this is a 4 set of hamstring curls. Once again, 12 reps at 17 and a half. But at the end of that, I then have to do partials. So I will do not all the way up to my butt, but as many as I can with just the limited range of motion or the partials. Then this was my final set of hip thrusts. I again added another 20 pounds to it and repped it out for 12. Again, with the booty band to make sure that I'm really activating and getting into those glutes and not getting any other muscles. You will see this one took something out of me as I rust at the end there. That is how you should feel at the end. From there, I go into this machine. This is the variation of the hack squat that I have to do just based on the equipment available to me. I only do 2 sets of this. This first set is for 8 to 10 reps. And then I will go into a second set where I actually drop the weight 10 pounds and then I do a set of 12 to 15 reps. I did have a little bit of a break in between, but I just cut that out because it was quite honestly dead air time for you. Okay, after that, I then go into 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps of walking lunges. These, I feel like, do not get enough respect from people. So these will burn, especially after you've already done the other legs. So I did a 70-pound bar. I found that this is easier for me than holding the dumbbells, because with the dumbbells, my grip usually gives out too much and I don't use anything like Versa grips or anything like that. So I found that using the little short bar is much easier for me. So I will walk up and down with it on my back, making sure that I'm leaning forward and staying with my feet relatively wide, as if you're on train tracks. If you go too narrow, that can be definitely problematic. So obviously I took a rest between sets, but I did 3 sets of 12 to 15. I think it ended up actually coming up to 13 on each of these. I'm working my way up to the 15 reps. My last is a giant set of side laterals. I did 20 pounds times 15 reps, going immediately into partial side laterals at 25 pounds times 10 reps, and then directly into banded pull-aparts times 20 reps. And I did this 3 times. Why am I doing shoulders at the end of a leg day, you ask? Well, we actually want to make sure that we're hitting some of my target groups as many days as we can throughout the week, trying to go for like 3. So at the end of a shoulder day, I might have some glute touch-up work, and at the end of a leg day, I might have some shoulder touch-up work, and that's just to keep stimulating those muscle groups that we want to keep engaged.
I've been guilty of that many times.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so sorry. I realized when I brought your travel card out that I was supposed to text you back about your packages.
Oh.
And I never did.
No, that's fine. I brought my, because I don't ever even have a wallet with me, I may just say cards in the car if I need it.
No, that's fine.
Oh, that's tired.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But you feel like that target's
yeah.
where we need it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. And then, so I would use this to kind of like loosen it up before you get into your work, and then prime it with that external and internal rotation.
Okay.
Because I mean, the teres minor and major, those are going to help with those movements.
Mm-hmm.
So by getting them to engage and do what they're supposed to, hopefully we'll get that to cooperate a little bit more and not be so angry.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at you.
Okay, so I showed you the beginning of it, and then we went into a dry needling session, which I know scares some people. But if you've been following me for a little bit, you know that I've been having this issue with my lat since we started doing my figure posing. And I've been going to him about every 2 weeks or so, because the more posing I'm doing, the more it is just getting tight and locked up, and I'm having trouble doing my overhead presses and stuff like that. So he's been using dry needling, and basically they're very, very small needles, nothing like, you know, putting in an IV or anything like that. You barely feel it. But by putting those in your muscles, yeah, that was my daughter. She was filming. It actually helps them release the tension, especially for really, really tight ones, which I'm dealing with. It can relieve that tension so that it can rest and not be bound up. So that's kind of what he's working on there. These can be a little bit strong feeling, but definitely notice a difference. All right, well, that's all for this episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you sticking with it. Stay tuned. We're getting closer and closer to showtime, so there's more coming.